Thursday, September 25th. Here's what you need to know. We're going to look at new data that could show 94L developing into what could be Amilda and how that could be big problems. There's a tremendous amount of uncertainty, but this has to be watched. Severe weather is possible today from parts of southern New England all the way down to Georgia. It's calming down and it's a lot cooler across the central states. And there's even a chance of severe weather across the far southwest. Let's start with the big picture here. Looking at North America, we're also watching off the southeast coast two systems. Umberto likely is going to stay out to sea. However, how it interacts with 94L, which could eventually become Amilda, is really, really important. And a lot of folks are getting caught up in the Fujiwara effect where these storms would rotate around each other. I'm not so much interested in that. I'm concerned about this storm moving a bit further to the west and developing and plowing into somewhere into the southeast. We're still looking at now Monday into Tuesday. It's Thursday. There's so much uncertainty with this. We'll look at the spaghetti plots in just a second, but this is from the early morning GFS. It pulls 94L, what would end up being Amilda, into the southeast. A lot of heavy rain. The problem would be your upper level setup is not going to let this thing move quickly off to the north and east. It would stall it for a day or two and then pull it back out to sea, or potentially keep some of that moisture around the southeast. That was last night's GFS operational run. And I think at this point, you can't just look at an operational run because the midnight run didn't even have this thing coming inland. The European had a very aggressive look overnight. It brought this storm right up into South Carolina, into the Appalachians. To me, this is worst case scenario for heavy rain and catastrophic flooding. We're still so far out on this. This is what I like to look at, and this is why, because look at all of the different possibilities. This is the European Ensemble Guidance. It takes all the members and all the different parameters and stacks it, and it shows you the plots of where low pressure could end up being. Anywhere here from Norfolk to Miami, right? I think your sweet spot is probably still right in here, but the question is how far west will it end up going? The European Ensemble Guidance overall still keeps this thing very close to the coast and pulls it out to sea, but you do have those outliers that move it inland. That's why I think it's dangerous to look at the operational runs that come out every 6 hours and go, this storm is going to just destroy things. Listen, it's on the table, but I certainly wouldn't buy into it and bet the farm just quite yet. There's still a lot of questions as well. How strong does this storm get? Here's your spaghetti plots. It shows you all the different pathways. Just a few of those are bringing this storm inland. This particular model will get better with time, especially as we move into the weekend. The National Hurricane Center clearly watching this area as well, saying there's still about an 80% chance of development with this storm. We'll be watching it. Today, we're definitely watching severe weather from parts of New York, Connecticut, even Western Mass, New Jersey, Eastern PA, including Philadelphia, D.C., down to Richmond, all the way into the Piedmont of North Carolina and the upstate of South Carolina into Georgia. Strong damaging winds possible as we head into the afternoon. A few of the storms could also produce some hail. And while the tornado risk isn't off the charts, the Storm Prediction Center is watching the northern end of this. There's going to be enough wind shear that you do need to be weather aware today. Have a way to get warnings either on your phone or NOAA weather radio here from southern New England all the way down into parts of the mid-Atlantic. As we get toward the 4 or 5 o'clock hour, you've got storms now moving through central PA, right across the spine of the Appalachians, and then down into the south. Some big storms possible also from north and middle Georgia into North and South Carolina. Those will settle down some tonight. However, heavy rain still possible with these storms. Some welcome relief rain, I think, is on the way for parts of Maine. It's been very dry here, so there will be at least a chance of some good soaking rains today. And then as we head into now Friday, more storms here across the southeast. You know, I would be a little bit concerned with this because think about it. If you're dealing with a tropical system that's going to be developing somewhere, well, really it would be coming up from this direction, from the south, and you're getting pre-storm rains. Man, this reminds me of Helene. Remember last year? It was different though, right? You had all that rain that set up on this axis last year, and then Helene moved in and it rained on top of that. Look at this, guys. We're getting rain that has nothing to do with what could potentially be a hurricane way to the south. So this could be a big problem. All right. I'm watching it, and my concern is growing. All right. Temperatures today across the southeast, hot right along the coast ahead of our front. We will be cooling down as we head into tomorrow with a little more cloud cover. Showers will still be around this region. And then as we head into the weekend, temperatures overall relatively cooler the further east you go, but we're starting to warm up a little bit further to the west. Speaking of that, let's look here. Relatively quiet as we head through today. Not a lot of rain in the forecast, mostly dry as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. A few showers possible again along parts of the Gulf Coast. Otherwise, dry, relatively cool, maybe a little bit above average for this time of year. We're popping back up into the 80s across parts of Iowa, also into Minnesota. This is an area to watch. Across the far southwest, some severe storms possible across Arizona. So we're dealing with some moisture moving into this region. This could cause some flash flooding too. Big downpours, also some severe gusty winds possible with these storms. So be weather aware across the southwest as we head into the afternoon and evening. And some of that spanning as far north as southern parts of Utah into parts of Nevada, even into the Sierra Nevada. Some rain possible across this region. And here's a look at your temperatures across the west today. Hot into the deserts, the relief would be any showers that you end up seeing. Another issue today will be the fire danger. You have this critical and elevated fire danger here across parts of the Pacific Northwest into Oregon and Washington, specifically into the Cascades. This could be a big issue as we head into the afternoon, especially as we get those drier conditions as temperatures warm up. So just be aware of that. Clearly too warm for snow across the lower 48, but if you push this out as we head into October, we're starting to see signs that more snow will start to fall across the Northwest Territories into parts of British Columbia. In fact, it looks really active here as we begin our seasonal change. More snow picking up here and over the next couple of weeks across Siberia. Quite a bit of snow expected as we build that October snowpack, which is correlated to what could be an early start to winter. In fact, there's more snow on the ground in the Northern Hemisphere this time of year than there was last year. Could that mean a colder winter? If you missed the weekly winter weather update, there's a link to it in the description below. You can also check it out. Actually, it's right here. I'm trying to think of where we're at here on YouTube. We go through some of the ideas of what this snowpack might mean. We're also going to talk about how I think winter is starting to evolve. We also do a weekly winter weather update. So if you've not subscribed, hit that button and come back. See you next time.